What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Press X Podcast, episode 122, your weekly podcast for gaming news and opinions coming at you each and every Monday. I am Kevin McManus. With me, Nick Hassell.
I'm back. I'm alive, baby.
I want to start off with some housekeeping, as we do.
Okay.
I want to start off with streaming, because I streamed again this past week.
Yeah.
Had a blast. Really enjoying it. Would definitely like to do it more. It's a little bit more of a process to set up, and you have to be in a certain mood. Like, you can't be in a bad mood and stream. It'll come across badly. You got to be like really in a mood that you want.
Never in a bad mood.
I don't believe that. Anyway, I played more Fortnite on stream. Went over really well. Had a blast. Had a couple people in there commenting, joining conversation. Ended up getting 2 or 3 wins. Ended up getting a 16 kill game victory, which was awesome because it's the highest I've ever had. Gonna have to start streaming again and do the Thanos game mode and see how that goes. But yeah, just had a lot of fun with it.
I've
definitely a lot of stuff I can
on
can
the
do with
mobile app. I've poked my head in there twice. I think maybe on like Car Rise, and be like, oh, the quality looks really good as far as
of the stream.
Not just like the pixels. I mean, like the way you got things set up and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
There's a few things that I'm concerned about that I still need to tweak and I want to deal with, but it's definitely working. It's not broken, which is what I was worried about. And the true test is going to be...
that's something.
Yeah. and the true test is going to be streaming a stream and watching it. I'm going to have to do that, see if that works. And then if it does, maybe we can do some E3 plans. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But that
don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, that's why I'm not... I refuse to announce anything, because I think we did that. We were like, we're going to stream E3. And then my internet just died as soon as we tried that. But we missed last week because we did the top Wii game list. We had that go live.
And that's what aired. Okay.
Yeah, that was a good time. I do remember that list. That list is interesting because it's like we each have our 10 games for the Wii. And that's all there is. Like that's all I got for that console.
It was a struggle. That's probably, off the top of my head, the most difficult one. I know Wii U was a little rough.
Yeah, Wii U at least has some cool like digital download stuff. Now we're getting into the era like right when digital stuff just kind of started. So it's even harder to find those like indie darlings because they just don't exist.
But we're getting into the real meat and potatoes. I don't know. I know what hasn't aired and what we've filmed, what we're filming, like in the process of what we got in the vault, basically. We're getting to the real good stuff.
Yeah, and I guess it is important to note next weekend we are going to a wedding.
Oh, yeah.
We will be airing one of those top 10 things, so look forward to that. Anyway, we'll start off with some comments from the past 2 weeks because it's been a little while. Starting off with Zach Yoder on the Wii list saying, I was honestly not that big of a fan of the Wii library outside of Mario, Donkey Kong Country Returns, Smash, Xenoblade, and a few other games you guys talked about. He goes on to talk about how the Switch library already seems like it's kind of surpassed the Wii library, Mario having a better iteration with Odyssey, Zelda having a better iteration with Breath of the Wild, Xenoblade 2 being there for the Xenoblade iteration, Tropical Freeze taking over the Donkey Kongs.
Xenoblade 1 versus 2 comparison.
I saw that and I was like, I don't know. I haven't played them. I'm gonna let you guys talk that one.
I need to pay more attention to the comments. Then I don't want to break into a whole thread of that. That's interesting food for thought.
And then I do have to point out that while the Wii, I think, has a limited selection of games, I have such fond memories of them though. Playing Wii Sports, playing Brawl, playing these more party games. I have a lot of
my
fun
big thing is
that.
The Switch doesn't even compare as a party console yet to Wii. Like, it's not even in the same realm.
Also, like, the Switch is so expensive. I mean, it's only $300 for the thing, but then you start buying controllers for $70, $80 each, and like, it gets expensive. Whereas the Wii, like, that stuff wasn't that bad.
No, finding it
was
hard.
A lot of games came with controllers.
Finding it was the magical journey. Not working your butt off to pay for.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the Wii had Netflix and many other things. I actually think it was the device that most people use Netflix on. At some point, which is interesting, but.
Yeah, so the Switch is just haymakers right now for the most part, and now they're getting the indie stuff and the third-party stuff and the the Wii U library.
They're fixing that little mistake.
So I wouldn't go too far into the comparison yet because it was very much a party game system, and it has all the party games, whereas this one, Switch is what is it system, like what's its theme, and you'll notice each time we do these top 10 lists, I give each system a theme. I don't know what the Switch's is yet.
Not yet.
Because I don't make use of I'm on the basketball court and then I get home and slam it down and
popping off the Joy-Cons. There's motion controls to it. There's a lot going on with the console.
There's a lot of halfsies going on, but nothing that's really
also doesn't have Netflix. Also, you can't save your stuff onto an SD card like you could on the way. Also, doesn't have a virtual console, and we're going to get into that a little bit more. Like there's a couple of weird.
So it's an interesting comparison. I wouldn't quite declare a victor yet. It's way too early for Switch, but once it gets some party games,
I do agree some of those games are definitely better than their previous ones.
Once it gets some party games, then we'll talk.
Where's the Mario Party? Please.
Where it be?
On top of that, he also says that I'm pretty hyped for Nintendo's E3 presentation, specifically because of Smash and Fire Emblem. I don't know how much Fire Emblem we're going to see, because they really made it a point to say that this Nintendo's presentation is 2018 focused.
Yeah.
I think we'll get one.
It's still a Fire Emblem game, like a mainstay.
For 2018? I thought it was 2019.
No, let's see. 27. Basically, it's weird. Fall started off the Fire Emblem chain of events, so there were 2 Fire Emblem games last year, and this year I think is supposed to be the console mainstay game.
Really? Okay, I thought that was 2019, but okay, then
it might be.
That will be there if that is it. And then obviously Smash, they're sticking to their 2018 release. I do actually think they did say Fire Emblems this year. They just haven't talked about it now that I'm thinking about it. But and then Smash, obviously. And we have some news about the Nintendo Online that we're going to talk about a little bit later. So there's definitely reasons to be excited. Though I actually think this E3 overall, just the entire thing of E3, is going to be very tempered from the past 5 years. Like the past 5 years of E3s have been insane reveals and all this stuff. I think this is going to be the most tempered E3 that we have.
We'll get there.
Yeah. World End adding a bunch of discussion to 2 weeks ago's video, saying I'll wait for the God of War spoiler discussion anytime you guys are both ready to talk about the game, because at the time only I had beaten it. Good news. It should be live
We're
at
ready.
this moment. It should have went live by now, so you can check out our impressions of the God of War, full spoilers, anything that we want to talk about, anything that we discovered or that happened in the game. Nothing is off limits, and that is kind of wrapping up what we've been playing when we get there, because it was so heavy.
I had nothing to talk about.
On top of that, World End says, good PlayStation Plus games. Again, I'll be playing Beyond Two Souls. Very much enjoy Beyond Two Souls. I think that game gets kind of a bad rap. And I think it is significantly better than what people kind of give it credit for. I think they were just bummed it wasn't Heavy Rain. Like people really just wanted Heavy Rain, and it was not Heavy Rain. It was a different take on it. So we'll see. Also adds, the new Tomb Raider is made by Eidos Montreal, the Deus Ex and Thief team, not the Hitman team. I wasn't sure which one. I thought it was the Hitman team. I wasn't sure. That is interesting. I think the other team's working on Avengers, possibly. We don't know what's going on with that Avengers Square Enix project.
Yeah.
So
that'll probably get talked about this year too.
Yeah, for sure. It's possible that they're working on that. On top of that, he says, I just replayed 2013's Tomb Raider, and man, it didn't hold up. I loved that game when I played it multiple times in 2013, 2014, but playing it in 2018, especially right after God of War, it went down from an 8.8 or 8.8 to 8.5 to a 7 for me. I'll be playing Rise of the Tomb Raider for the first time. I hope it'll be better. And then he goes on to talk about Shadow of the Tomb Raider already having DLC announced, and the game's not even out, which is definitely a problem, and once again a strike against that game that's so frustrating because it's already in a really bad spot. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised that Tomb Raider didn't hold up. I thought that game would hold up about as well as Uncharted 1 held up, which I think was fine.
To be fair, that genre and style of game were pretty deep in like a sea of those types of games. So you'll see technology leaps and gameplay leaps and like iterations this one does it a little bit better. Well, this one does a little bit better. So it's basically like doing a battle royale game right now. Mm-hmm. You'll go back to maybe PUBG here in a couple years and be like, man, this one really sucked compared to where Fortnite's at or something like that. Like, you're getting pretty deep in that style of game. So I can see why playing the 2013 version of, something that's probably had 12 different games come out since that are that style, why it might feel a little dated and like not hold up as well because you're playing like God of War, which, you know, they're comparable at least, but you're seeing
Same
like
genre.
the top end of what this genre can do, and then you're going back.
And to be fair, it is a PS3 game.
Yeah,
so
that too.
You're going back. Rise of the Tomb Raider, though, I think is totally fine. I played it earlier this year.
He should be more than fine playing that without like, ooh, this feels old. Like, I think you're gonna be good there.
Rise is great. And like I said, I played through a whole bunch of it earlier this year, and that was fun. And then on top of that, he says, 79 million PlayStation 4s is crazy good. And look what we have next. Spider-Man, The Last of Us 2, Death Stranding, Days Gone, Ghost of Tsushima. Who knows what else is coming. Marketing deals with Red Dead 2. We were just talking about that. And the PS4 will be over 100 million for sure. Yes. Absolutely. It is crazy.
God of War could get it to 100 million, probably.
It is crazy how well that thing is selling. I would imagine pretty soon the headlines that it's past the Xbox 360 and PS3 will be coming in, which is insane. And he goes on to talk about how many units Horizon sold and Uncharted 4 have sold. And they have announced, I think in the first 3 days, God of War sold over 3 million units, and it is their fastest selling Sony IP, which I hate that term because that doesn't mean anything to me. Like, you can really play around with what fastest selling means. But either way, it is clearly doing very, very well, and I'm excited to see kind of how it ends up, and if it can, topple Uncharted as the highest selling one. And then finally, from the comments, we have Bat Nixon, who says, PS4 does feel like the PS2. I agree. PS4 is missing backwards compatibility. Instead of using PlayStation Now to make more money, have you tried PlayStation Now? Is it any good? So we talked about how the PlayStation 4, in terms of a lot of things, feels like the PlayStation 2. The sales are kind of feeling like PlayStation 2.
I think I said it before, too. PS3, they went this route of we got to bump up presentation, and like substance wasn't all there with the games. And then PS4, they dialed it back a little bit and said, yeah, we'll still give you the PS4 Pros and 4K and all that, but these games, though. And then, from the list you just read a minute ago, all the Horizons, God of War, Uncharted, all that stuff. So that makes sense to me that 2 and 4 feel a lot closer in comparison than 3 does.
Yeah, I agree with that.
3 was more like an arms race for visuals and online and stuff like that.
And also, interestingly, they came out behind in that one, like by a year. They launched a year after Microsoft. And I think that really hurt their instant perception into the market, whereas these, with the Xbox and PS4, have launched together, and the PlayStation 2 was much more parity. So it's interesting. On top of that, he talks about backwards compatibility, and is PlayStation Now any good? I like PlayStation Now. I think it's gotten better and better as time's gone on. They've definitely put resources into it, but nobody seems to really use it and talk about it, and it's interesting. And I think part of the problem is its pricing structure is pretty bad. I think you need to lower the price on it in some way, shape, or form. They do, at some points, do like $100 for a year deals or $120 for a year deals. I can't remember which one it is, but I have used it for a couple months, and I have had a problem once in a while where the game will like pixelate and come back. But like me and Kellen have played through multiple fighting games on PlayStation Now. We played Resident Evil 5. On PlayStation Now, we played Resident Evil 6 for a little bit because that game's terrible, and then we shut it off.
It's actual ass.
So we played through. I played God of War Ascension on PlayStation Now, so it is totally usable. The only problem I could see is like you can't play. I don't think you'd be able to do like online stuff and things like that at all. But if you just wanted to use it as like a way to play some old games because you don't have a PS3 or something along those lines, and now it has PS2 games. I think it is definitely worth doing the trial and checking it out, and I think you'll be surprised. I think you can get a 2-week trial for free.
It sounds like the same guy who ran the Vita runs PlayStation Now. Like, it's a really good concept, really good idea.
Like, how do
they just don't know how to best maximize what they have?
Like
and market it. Like
they have an issue with perception. Basically, and it's really hard to shake that off. And I don't know what they do besides like rebrand it with the PlayStation 5 in some way. Be like, at launch, you can play this, and that. Then people will be like, oh, it's not backwards compatibility. I don't know.
This is way better than PlayStation Now. Like, it's like the same thing.
PlayStation then. All right, so let's move into what we've been playing. I know you heavily into God of War. Was that the only thing that you touched?
I did God of War. I finished God of War at the start of the week, at basically the turn of the week. Got that knocked out. I did a little bit more the next day. There's some optional stuff in game, some more like boss fight sort of stuff that you can do. And I just kind of want to spend a few more minutes wandering around doing whatever. Immediately jumped back into Far Cry 5. Played a few hours of it. Didn't quite finish it before we filmed this, at least. That'll be my next game to finish. And then talking about some things that came out. This is going to be my first one of the year, at least, but I've encountered if I don't play this now, I won't play it for the rest of the year, and I'll probably regret it when December, Game of the Year talk starts coming around. Pillars of Eternity 2.
Okay.
Getting some real good press on the PC. Played the first game, really like it. I'm in this position as of Friday of this week where it's just like, if I don't buy this now and play it before Detroit comes out, depending on what E3 gives us as well, it's just like I'm not going to touch it. So this might be I wish I had gotten to this backlog game, sort of like Divinity 2 was last year, but it's so hard, especially on the back of a 20-plus hour game, to be like, I want to delve into a very deep tactical RPG. It's
that's how I'm feeling right now.
It's so tough to force yourself in, and once you do it, it's fine. It's easy. You love it. The characters are sweet. Whatever. I've heard nothing but great things about the game, and I know I'm going to regret not playing it, but it's so hard to convince myself to just take that initial step. So where I'm at right now is I'm going to finish Far Cry 5, and then probably Yakuza 6, because I got that fancy version, which I can't wait to litter the table with all the cool stuff.
I'm excited.
I'll probably play that because I feel like I didn't give Yakuza from 2017 enough time in the sunlight, so I think I want to give that game a try, and I'm very comfortably sure that I can finish that before Detroit comes out. So I think that's my game plan. But yeah, I'll finish Far Cry 5. Still loving it. I'm very much towards the end, though, I can tell. So I'm pretty comfortable to say I'll beat it. And that'll be what I'm talking about next week, at least. And yeah, as far as God of War is concerned, you already mentioned it. Did a spoiler video of it, well over
an hour.
Yeah, well over an hour. So there's enough meat there, and we won't waste any time here with it. So,
for me, I played Splatoon 2. I've been hopping back into that game just as something to kind of still give me that that online addiction that I've had recently of wanting to play these games, but that's not Fortnite. Something a little more casual, something that I won't get as mad at. I get way more mad at Splatoon than Fortnite. There's way more BS in Splatoon than there is in Fortnite that I just don't understand.
Well, you seem to like playing Fortnite in a squad, unless you're streaming, then you do solo, right?
No, I do. I actually like duos the best, but I like squad is my least favorite.
Really?
I think it's fun, but the fun is hanging out with people. The fun's not playing the squads. I think squad is the least balanced of all the modes. Because,
for sure.
Yeah, like you lose a team member early on, and your chance of winning is just so hindered. Whereas if you just keep your team members, even if you're not playing very well, your chance of winning goes up so high. Like it's a little iffy. I think duo is really where the game shines. Anyway, Splatoon 2, they did another Splatfest. They're doing an interesting one where last weekend it was Leonardo versus Raphael for Best Ninja Turtle. Then this weekend it's Michelangelo versus Donatello. And then the next weekend it's going to be the two winners fighting each other. So they're doing like this tournament. Very cool. I wish that the topic was something a little bit more interesting. Raphael ended up winning round 1 over my chosen Leonardo, which is depressing. If Donatello loses this next week, I'm going to be very, very upset.
This round is basically the weakest of the ones that I've heard.
Oh, absolutely. But the problem is a bunch of kids pick, and then they lose a lot, and then the other team ends up winning, because that's That's what keeps happening. Like, Marino wins every popular vote and then loses every battle to Pearl every time. If I really wanted to win, I'd probably pick Michelangelo. But I'm going from my heart. Donatello's my favorite turtle. Anyway, jump back into Splatoon. There's some new levels. There's tons of new guns. Oh my gosh, I accidentally went into the gun store and dude talked for like 45 minutes and wouldn't shut up. There's a fast forward button and it was still like 45 minutes. It was awful. But yeah, they added new map. They added a new game mode where you're like throwing clams and there's like a shield and you have to break it and throw clams in, and I was very confused, and like I googled how to play the game because I didn't understand from the rules of the game of how to play the game, which is never good. And then I figured out how to play it, and I just don't like that particular game mode. That being said, the reverse capture the flag Rainmaker mode is so good, where there's basically a gun in the middle. It's kind of like Halo. There's a gun in the middle of the map that you could pick up, and it's super powerful, but it's got a charge on it, so it takes a little bit. And if you bring it into the other team's base, you win the game. So it's like this reverse capture the flag of pushing it into their base. So you got to have your team with you to kind of ink the way so that you can swim in with the gun. Love that game mode. I think it's the best one that they've done. And when the 2 hours is up and they rotate the game modes and that's the one that randomly pops up, I have a blast. Sometimes it's the dumb clam one and I don't want to play. But anyway, I've been having fun. That game, and I think I talked about it last week a little bit, but that game's mechanics and everything about it are so good. And then everything just surrounding it is so RNG, random, not very well explained, super clunky menus. Like, I don't understand.
It's unfortunate.
It's
really built like a mobile game to me.
Kind of.
And it's like pop on at certain hours of the day sort of thing. And the worst part of it, too, is that it probably makes more sense if you're in Japan some of the times popping up, whereas over here it's just like, oh man, it's 8 o'clock. I got a couple of my friends here. Let's play whatever that co-op mode is.
Yeah,
it's down.
Co-op mode is down for 12 hours.
Yeah.
All right. Can't play that.
So,
anyway.
There's a lot of like, what were they thinking, or they obviously weren't thinking moments.
As far as I understand, there's supposed to be a very big reveal for Splatoon 2 coming in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
People don't know what it is. There's some rumors that I don't believe. I'm very curious what it could possibly be. If it's a crossover with something else, like them
Super Smash Brothers,
them adding other characters into the game, or what it could possibly be. So we'll have to see. But I'm excited for that. Also, the player pool on it is still like it takes 2 seconds to matchmake. That is one thing that's good. Though the matchmaking, meaning like the power level, is awful.
Yeah.
How quickly it throws you into a match, still phenomenal. I played through Uncharted 4 again. I finished Uncharted 4 completely. What a wonderful game. I really, really enjoyed it. They just know how to hit the emotional beats of that game really, really well. There's my second time through it, there was a feeling of, I really want to get to the next story bit. I really want to get to the next story bit, especially because I knew the story and I wanted to see that next thing. So there was a lot of fights where I like didn't want to use cover and I just wanted to run around and shoot the people, and that doesn't work at all in that game. You'll just die in 2 or 3 hits.
Yep.
So that was a little annoying. I think there was a difficulty mode lower than what I was playing it on, though. So in theory, I could have dropped it down and done it that way. But man, just the storytelling and the like motion capture, facial capture, and stuff of that game is so well done. And the finale of that game is incredible. It's really hard to stick those landings of like final chapters to games. You know what I mean? And I think they did such a good job.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
I think they did
way too well.
A very good job. Ni no Kuni 2. I haven't played this one too much. I'm a couple of hours into it. And I am really shocked that you liked this game so much. That being said, like, I'm not super far into it.
Yeah.
But
it's got a long intro.
I instantly was taken out of it by the things that people were talking about, which is this game feels to me like a visual novel.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much just text and dialogue, but it's all presented on like these static screens of the characters just kind of standing next to each other, and then the text comes up. And I would have much preferred if it was more like Danganronpa or Persona, even, where their faces pop up and kind of emote.
Like
and they
a
have
caricature of them?
Yeah, they have like a 2D expression that could change and kind of get you into it a little bit more. I find myself not caring that much whenever there's story-based stuff going on, just because it does that thing that Danganronpa does where they're like, well, actually, and then the text doesn't actually say, well, actually, and it's like 3 lines of whatever. And Danganronpa, it helps a little bit that they have those emotions and those expressions. And I find myself wishing that this was a little bit more visual novel if they were going to go this route. That being said, the gameplay is fun. I'm having fun with the combat for sure. It's definitely way more like beat 'em up feeling than I thought it was going to. I like the little people. I forget what they're called, but the little Pikmin guys. I think that they're...
It's too cute.
I think that they're neat. But like I said, I'm not super deep into the lore or the worlds of what's going on. Hate the overhead, the map thing. Absolutely atrocious.
Oh,
the
like
chibi,
the travel?
The chibi...
I knew you would.
Absolutely. Yeah. But anyway, Ni no Kuni 1, I can basically already say I like Ni no Kuni 1 better. And Ni no Kuni 1 frustrated me. But I'm going to keep at it and see a bit deeper and see if it grabs me. Because like you said, playing it right after God of War, playing it when I'm in this Fortnite kick, not helping.
Yeah.
Not helping anything.
It had to be the only thing I was playing. Yeah. And like I said, that was around the time when Far Cry 5 came out, so it was a nice contrast for me to have the sweet and innocent like fairy tale sort of story like this is, because it feels like you're being like read a fairy tale in a lot of aspects.
Definitely fairy tale.
And that was a nice contrast to my dark, gruesome, yelling obscenities and dismembering people and whatever. So it was a nice contrast to that, but it was the only thing I was playing. So that might help. But
next, I played Silent Hill 4: The Room. So this is interesting. I love the Silent Hill series, one of my favorites of all time. Silent Hill 4 I've only beaten once ever. Yeah. I played I do that thing that a lot of people do with old games, which is I know the first 2 hours, so I play the first 2 hours and then I shut it off. But I had a friend wanting to go through it, and I was like, okay, let's do this. And we got, I don't know, probably 70% through it, and we're going to finish it up later. This game is way better than I thought. The structure of the game doesn't follow a normal Silent Hill structure, and I'm going to spoil the structure and a couple story points of the game just so people know, just to make a point. But the way that it works is you're stuck in a room, your hotel room, and it's in first person. And basically you climb through this hole in a wall, and it brings you to Silent Hill. And that's where you play the third person portion of the game, and you are basically trying to save somebody. And at the end of that sequence, you fail to save them, and you go back to your apartment, and it's this first-person thing where your health's regenerating. You have this box where you can store items. You can only hold 10 items at a time. All this stuff. You're in a new area in third person. You try to save somebody. You fail. So this is the back and forth.
So not a very successful person.
No, this is the back and forth of the game. You're locked in this hotel room. All that stuff. Then once you hit the halfway point of the game, you are actually retreading all the areas that you've been to before, but it's interesting because the combat in the game is very friendly to, you can actually take things out pretty easily. You have a charged attack that gives you invincible frames, and you can really fight. So they compensate that by putting in ghosts that are unkillable. They come through walls, and they can chase you through the entire map. Which is an interesting mechanic. And then they go on top of that by giving you a dagger that you can stab the ghost with, but there's only 5 in the entire game. So if you want to stab a ghost, you can do it and take them out, but you need to return and take the dagger back out before you proceed to the next area. And it makes this cool, ooh, should I do it? I'm on my back way through the game. I have 0 daggers. I didn't get them. And I stabbed one ghost and didn't go back for it. I forgot. And now I just don't have a dagger. And it's interesting because that second half of the game I'm going back through, and the ghost of the people that you kind of failed haunt you. And they're way more powerful, way more aggressive. They can go through all of Silent Hill and chase you. It's just a really, really smart way to do it. And it's interesting because I talked about you go to that hotel room and it's the safe area where you put all your stuff and your health regenerates. Halfway through the game, your health stops regenerating, it's not a safe place anymore. And it's cool because it goes back into regular feeling Silent Hill where you need to find health items, and it becomes that resource management game that it wasn't in the beginning. So it's just really cool. It's an interesting twist on the way that the series works that kind of plays with your expectations and then brings you back to that world that you know, and it's done so much better than I remembered. Like, I like this one. I think it might be the scariest of them. But it actually scared me quite a bit when I played it as a kid, and I was like, I don't want to play through this one again, blah blah blah. And going through it now, I'm like, this one actually jumped in my ranking after going back through it. I was really, really impressed with just its layout and how thoughtful it was with some stuff. So yeah, I'll beat that later next week. And then, of course, No Way Out. We've been back and forth. Oh, is he going to finish this game? I did not finish the game.
You have still not found a way out.
We're still stuck there. And then finally, Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle went up for a demo and a beta this week, so I hopped into that a little bit. Very pleasantly surprised that the game is not just ripping the characters from all these games and putting them into their own game. Yeah. That's kind of what I thought it would be. Oh, they control the exact same. The mechanics are the exact same. They're totally different. It's really a combo-based system. Yeah. It's not like, it doesn't have that assist system like Persona 4 had where you can just mash one button and it does all these combos. Mm-hmm. There's the tag-in moves that do different stuff. There's assists as in like Dragon Ball Z Fighters, like somebody comes in and
it's basically not a copy and paste, which was my biggest fear. And
new attacks, I toyed around different, with voice acting's different. Like,
I toyed around with it, and there's a lot of interaction. There's actually like work put into the game, so I feel a lot better now about spending the money for it.
I'm very glad that they put this out because it did kind of change my opinion on it. I was probably going to get it anyway, but I was shocked when I hopped into my first match and started doing the combos I know and they weren't working, and I was like, oh, it's a different combo system. Yeah. Like, it's not even the same combo system. So it's something that I need to learn the innards of as any fighting game, but I'm very happy to report that it was not just rip the characters, put them back in. Why are these DLC characters, not in the game, blah, blah, blah? It's because they're not ripped from their game.
The fact that it's got a pretty good release date is what is its saving grace for me. If it was down to like this and Soul Calibur 6 within like the same month or so,
that would be a problem.
Then I would do I'll wait for the Game of the Year version that's going to have everything unlocked.
That's the other problem. And I don't know what I'm getting it for yet. I'm thinking about getting it for Switch. I'm going to play the beta on PS4 and check that out.
I'm most likely getting it for PS4, so might as well just share.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. And like that Game of the Year one's interesting. Like, do I want to get it for Switch and then like get the Game of the Year one for PS4? I don't know. But I'm gonna go and play both betas and see which one I like more.
This just seems like a fighting stick game for me, so I know which one I'm getting it for.
That makes it pretty easy. So that's it for the what we've been playing. Quite a few things, but we can hop into the news and quite a bit of that too to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So first up in the news, some Fortnite stuff because I like talking about it. I'm going to make this kind of quick.
Basically, I won't fight it this time.
Well, when we get there. Basically, Season 4 launched. It launched the day after Season 3, so that's nice. They don't really announce their release dates for that stuff. They just kind of happen. And it was superhero-themed, as most people kind of figured out from their teases and their promos. It basically works the same way as the last season. You get dailies, you get weekly challenges, and then if you do all of them, you unlock a skin or whatever it is. And every time you do... there's 100 tiers, and each of the 100 tiers gives you different outfits and pickaxes and emotes and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy with that. The big change to it is that the map got hit by that meteor that people were talking about, and it indeed took out Dusty Depot, which was the rumor I talked about 2 weeks ago. Some insider said, hey, it's hitting Dusty, not Tilted, and they got a lot of credit because they also said it's superhero-themed, and that was before any of the superhero-themed stuff was rumored. So they were ahead of the curve, and they were correct. The meteor took out Dusty. A lot of people wanted it to take out Tilted because Tilted funnels so many players. The cityscape area funnels so many of the players to it. Well, now Dusty is exactly opposite Tilted, and it kind of splits the map in half and is another really big point of interest. And they're doing this environmental storytelling thing that I really like that they did last season, where every week that dusty area updates. So like now there's these tunnels in it, and then this next coming week they're going to add something else to it. It seems so it's kind of evolving.
Yeah.
That's where the
Like
meteor
it
hit.
keeps your attention too.
Yeah, they have like a research center built over it right now. It kind of reminds me of the ship in Batman versus Superman or in Justice League, how they had the I don't know what it's called, but they have like the thing over it, the tarp that's going over it and stuff. They have that stuff. It looks like an area that's being researched on. So that's really cool. On top of that, there's rocks that spawn near these meteors, and if you pick them up, you get these superpowers that give you low gravity for a short amount of time, which is really cool. And then they're scattered throughout other areas of the maps in just little pockets as well, which is neat because sometimes when you're out racing the storm, you can pick one up and it gives you that speed boost that you need to get out of there. They only last for like 30 seconds or so. They added a whole bunch of new points of interest and fun things to find, a new named area on the map and stuff. The only other thing that I do want to talk about with the map is it seems there's this missile silo on the left side of the map, and there's like an Avengers Batman-y tower on the right side of the map now. And the rumored thing is that they're going to split the map down the middle and do a 50 versus 50 capture the flag game mode.
That's cool.
Where you need to get into the other team's base and
Hidden fortress looking thing.
So
yeah.
I think that could be really, really cool. We'll see if that's true. But that's the rumor. And it also is part of the rumor that there will be a super-powered entity on each team. The evil one would be Thanos, and that is the other big update that they did. They have a solo game mode where Thanos' gauntlet, the Infinity Gauntlet or whatever,
You did it.
crashes to the ground. You can pick it up and become Thanos. Pretty fun mode. I don't think I prefer the normal mode more, but I like this one existing because it's refreshing. It's refreshing as like a palate cleanser after you played a couple of the regular ones. You're like, yeah, let's get the gauntlet and just beat up on people for a little while.
Especially, it seems like one of those too, where if you luck out and get it right at the beginning, you can have like a 30 kill game or something like that and just go.
Sure,
nuts.
if you don't get killed, they keep nerfing him. They've lowered his health, but like upped his damage, so he
That
feels
sucks
more
because
powerful.
I like the classic like Juggernaut sort of game mode, whether it's Halo, whether it's something like this, where you are all powerful, but there's like nice check systems, but it feels like if it's sort of like Friday the 13th, whenever you've talked about that game, when it gets to the point where you don't want to play Jason or the Juggernaut or the Big Bad, then that's when it's not fun anymore. So.
Yeah, I've had one game so far where I won. The final mode was me, somebody else, and Thanos, and the two people were fighting each other, and I was just kind of chip-shotting at Thanos and the other guy from a distance, and the other guy just rocket launched Thanos, killed himself, and they both died, and I won. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess that's how you beat Thanos one-on-one. But every other time I've landed in the top 10 as Thanos, I've won. It's not very difficult as long as you are getting kills, because when he kills somebody, his shield regenerates, and that gives you another 300, 200 health, basically.
Okay.
So you really want to aggressively hunt down people, and as a counter, when you know how to play the game mode, the way to stop Thanos is to steal his kills. When he's going after somebody, you need to pick off the person that he's going after. That way he doesn't get that regen. But also on top of that, you need to kind of work with other people, which is the most annoying thing. When you're destroying Thanos, like you're doing a really good job at attacking Thanos, and then somebody snipes you and kills you, and then Thanos wins the game because now it's like a 1v Thanos, and you can't take him out one-on-one like that. Like it just doesn't really work. So I actually think this game mode would be better if they added the proximity voice chat just for this game mode, so you could kind of be like, dude, help me take down.
So when Thanos dies, can you pick it up and you're Thanos?
When Thanos dies, you pick it up, all your loot drops to the ground, so that gives other people a chance to get whatever you had, and then you fly up in the air and you get to glide down wherever you want. So it kind of resets your position.
I was going to say, it sounds like it'd be better if it was just like the Thanos thing is just gone from the map after that.
I don't know. There was a million speculative things that could and couldn't have happened for this. I like the way that it works right now. The only thing that I wish when you picked up the gauntlet, it was a charge. Like it took 10 seconds before you became Thanos, and if you get shot, it interrupts it. So people more fight over the gauntlet itself than fighting Thanos. Because the problem that I think people have is if you're here, Thanos is here, and some guy's here, the guy here doesn't want to help you because you'll get to the gauntlet before him.
Yeah.
But if they made it so it took 10 seconds to put the gauntlet on, that other person would have time to fight you, and it would be a battle over the gauntlet. That's how I would change the game mode personally, is I would have a 10-second uninterrupted you need to put on the gauntlet before you can become Thanos, rather than the way it is now, which is you just hit square, launches you into the air, and you get to land wherever you want, and your health's full.
Normally, I don't really care for crossovers that are that blatant. Like, I'd understand if they made it, you're sort of like a Thanos, and you sort of have like a big power fist. Like, I get that stuff.
This is their first straight crossover.
But yeah, it is, like, when I saw it, it was just like actual Thanos, and,
it's cool.
The gauntlet. And I was like, this actually is not bad. And then I've seen some people play it and saw Thanos, and I was just like,
no, it's definitely a fun game mode. It's definitely a welcome game mode. I think it's one of the top game modes that they've done. I don't think it's the best. I think it's in the top 3 or 4, though. Yeah. Also, the story of how it came about is interesting. Basically, the Russo brothers were editing Infinity War, and they play Fortnite on their breaks from editing, and they just called up Epic, and they were like, hey,
do you want free money?
Yeah, basically.
Why, yes, we do.
They're like, how can we get this to work? So that's interesting. But that shows how long this has been in the works, and not a word has been leaked about it. And I love Fortnite's strategy seems to be Thanos is announced he's coming tomorrow. He's here for a week. You're going to miss out. Bye. Like that seems to be their marketing strategy, and it seems to be working. Next up, Nintendo has revealed their online services as well as their structure for how it's going to work. Basically, we knew that it was going to be $20 a year to get whatever it is you get from this, which seems to be online play for your game, something that you already have. Yep. But you're also going to get 20 NES games that are online enhanced, whether it is playing the games competitively online or something that seems like share play, where people can watch you play the game and you can give them the controller and they can control it. Very cool, very cool. I'm not going to complain about that at all. So there is some family plans where you could do like $35 a year, and then you can have like 7 accounts or something onto that. So we'll have to see how all the rules and stuff of that as they announce it. But this was a very tame announcement, as I thought it would be, because it was just a text thing. It wasn't a video. The biggest takeaway that people seem to have is that they announced that there's no virtual console coming to Switch.
that was what killed it for me. I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. Online, and then no virtual console. I was like, that was the point.
Yeah, so I think that, and a lot of people have said this, I think they're launching a new service that is not Virtual Console, but it's kind of the same thing, but it's not called Virtual Console, because that way people won't be like, well, my Virtual Console on my Wii U has all these games. Where's that? It's like, no, this isn't Virtual Console. This is classics with Nintendo. And
sort of like what we just talked about with PlayStation now.
Yeah, they basically just rebranded it. Yeah. And I honestly think that's kind of what they're doing. But yeah, I think this is fine. It's a little disappointing that it's all Nintendo games. I really want to hear mainly GameCube, but I really want to hear the N64 games are coming and stuff like that. But imagine if they do like N64 games, but they add online and like that's another service. Oh, that'd be so cool. That'd be so cool. So I thought that was going to be a lot of stuff to talk about with the Nintendo stuff, but it's really just kind of bare bones stuff. Yeah. We'll see if Smash is going to launch with it and everything.
That's the problem sometimes with their just like very direct and straightforward approach to announcements. It's just like, this is news. And they're just like, okay, this is a fact. We will present you with information.
Correct. Next up, Days Gone is the latest cover of Game Informer. So this is interesting because last month was Spider-Man, I think, and the month before that was God of War. I think that's the correct order. So Sony exclusive, back to back to back. We did not get a release date from this set of information, which isn't very surprising, but we did learn some things that I can kind of go over. It's sort of interesting. They also put out the first hour of gameplay, just the start to an hour into the game.
I thought that
was a pretty bold move.
I saw the first 15 minutes pop up on YouTube, and then now it's an hour. I'm just like, okay, well, this is odd.
Yeah, I skimmed through it because I'm not like super sold on that game. I will say I'm more excited for that game having finished God of War, because I wasn't super stoked to play God of War, and I really liked that game. And like I feel like I can trust Sony with these releases. They've done a really good job to make sure that I don't think any of their major releases have been bad. As far as I can think of, like I think they've all been good, and so I feel like this game is going to at least be good. So I skimmed through it just to kind of see. This game reminds me more than anything of Final Fantasy 15. That's kind of the vibe that I get from it. Like that one had like the dude bros hanging out doing their thing, and this one's like the dude motorcycle gang, taking parts from other people's motorcycle, building up their own. You can do tricks. There's a trick system on the motorcycles that you get like style points and stuff for. Like it is way more silly and stuff. It has this more silly stuff than I thought it might be. And they talked about The Last of Us and how they're constantly getting compared to The Last of Us, and they're just like, oh, because it's a third-person action-adventure game that takes place in a forest where you kill zombie, and it's like, yeah, that would be why. That is the exact reason. Yeah. But they talked about some things that I'm going to point out. There's only one difficulty mode, so that's an interesting way to go about it. The frame rate will be locked at 30 for the PS4 and the PS4 Pro.
Hate it.
It is 30 hours long, roughly. You cannot customize your main character. There's a motorcycle stunt system that I talked about. You can communicate to your home base, so you have like this home base, and that's kind of who you communicate to for like fast traveling things and resources. So that's interesting. Now these are the interesting things that caught my eye. This is a global epidemic. You will learn the origin of the infection. So I think that is really cool because it shows that they've thought out this whole story. This isn't just one of those, it's like The Walking Dead. Oh, it's about the characters. Mm-hmm. Like this seems like it might be about the story, which is cool.
That just hearing those things makes me think of Metal Gear 5. How it was the arms race and the online portion was the idea of it is for everyone to disarm completely. Like that makes me feel like there's like a whole world tied to it sort of thing, so that gives me sort of Metal Gear Solid 5 vibes.
Yeah, it's interesting, and as they keep going, the world is not salvageable, so this is not like save the world story, which is interesting. And then the game is broken into chapters, which is another thing that I feel like says
this sounds very Metal Gear Solid
story 5 driven.
They just need to remind you.
And then there's some other things that you might consider a spoiler, so I might not say them. But it is definitely interesting. Not what I would have thought going into it with some of those things. So like I said, I'm willing. My eyes are open to it now. After playing God of War, I'll see how it goes.
I am not going to watch anything on it, and depending on the release date, I'll probably just grab it off faith, I guess.
And they said that they're not going to have a big presence at E3. That was their other thing that they threw in there, which isn't very surprising when you hear Sony's E3 news, which is coming up soon.
There's no reason, really. I mean, it's weird that the first hours
online, they showed it at E3 for 2 years. They played 2 demos of it at E3. Not coming out this year, and they're not going to have it at E3.
That just screams to me that there's either some system in the game that just doesn't work, and they're working on it, or they are just scared to death of it getting slaughtered by X number of games coming up, and 4 of which that they'll name.
Yeah, well, I think because God of War is an IP you can sell with the name. Yeah. Spider-Man, you can sell that with the name. Death Stranding, you can sell with the name Kojima. Like
Hideo Kojima presents.
Yeah. And the people in it. Last of Us, you can sell with the name. You can't sell Days Gone with the name. Yeah. You've got to actually sell that game, and I think they're struggling to do that.
Especially when you're going off name. Okay, what's the next thing? What is it? Oh, it's a zombie post-apocalyptic. Yeah. About that.
Yeah. So we'll see, but I'm open to it now.
Yeah.
I've moved from here to here. We'll see what happens. Next up, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate is coming to the Switch in August. This was just a quick news thing that they kind of dropped on us. Very interesting.
Very big year for Monster Hunter, so this sort of stuff is just going to keep happening.
Oh, yeah, but on top of that, World isn't on Switch. World is probably never going to be on Switch, I would imagine, unless they
don't think Switch can handle the World yet.
Unless they get a really dumbed down version. Yeah. This is cool. I know handheld people love their Monster Hunters more than console players.
Because they've been playing it for a lot longer.
Yeah, so it's nice that but it is like the hardcore Monster Hunter. If you play World and go to this, you might be a little shell-shocked, I feel like.
Those are very different games. Yeah. Typical Monster Hunter and then what you got with World. So yeah, I would check it first, but I'm sure it'll get glowing reviews as every modern Monster Hunter gets.
I agree. Next up, Agony is coming May 29th. So this is interesting because this is a game that was supposed to come out maybe beginning of this month. Maybe it was last month. I can't remember. It got delayed randomly 5 days or something before it was supposed to come out. Very strange. And we never heard why it got delayed. Some stuff came to light that it was actually getting an AO rating.
Yeah.
Which there's very few AO rated games like ever. And it was getting an AO rating, so they actually self-censored the game to get it to an M. Now it is coming out May 29th, so we have our release date. It's coming to PS4 and Xbox One, so retailers can sell it. And then on PC, there is a free patch to get the uncensored version of the game. So I think all of that's really cool. I was saying it might be the first PC game I buy in a very long time because I'm curious. I really like horror games. They list this as survival horror. It doesn't really look like survival to me.
I've seen some words and phrases used that describe why it is AO, and I've just been like, I will watch this stream.
You didn't hear we're forcing you to play it.
Oh, no. The words agony aren't really my things.
Anyway, I'm interested in this game. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably not going to be a great game. But I'm curious, and I'll probably be picking it up
hoping
unless
that
its reviews are like god awful.
I'm hoping that some of these elements that made the bump up from M to AO aren't just like shock value. It's just like we're just doing this to be edgy, sort of thing.
It's just got to be sexual related stuff. That's like
it is.
That's what the AO gets. Yeah, like already from what you can see in the trailer, even like the PS4 trailers and stuff, it's like wow, this is way more than you see in any other game. But I'm interested in seeing what's going on there.
Yeah, I hope it's actual depth and not shock value.
Yeah, I hope it's not
make
Outlast
headlines
2.
sort of thing. Oh, yeah, that too, yeah.
That was no good.
But then again, I feel like if they were wanting to do like the headline thing, they wouldn't have censored it. So
yeah, censored it, and then being like, we're giving the free one for PC people. Yeah. Like it was a Kickstarted game, so I feel like they owe it to they feel like they owe it.
Yeah.
They don't know me.
To get me to play it, you might want to name it like Happiness instead, and just be like, oh, the title is just the juxtaposition on the, something like that. Like that's how you can trick me, but no, Agony.
It's like when we went to see Happy Death Day, and you're like, you weren't tricking me, right?
Yeah.
This isn't a spooky.
I'll walk out, damn it.
Next up, a lot of E3 news coming out, and it's making me very happy. So weird that E3's so close. Square Enix E3 showcase time has been revealed. So it's coming Monday, June 11th. So it's going to be a Monday stream, which is nice. Square Enix had one a couple of years ago. I remember watching it. It was very boring. Like just presentation wise, it was boring. The stuff they showed was okay. I remember seeing
there was depth to
Deus
it.
Ex. I remember seeing I think it was Tomb Raider Go or whatever it was called. I think was revealed there. Kingdom Hearts was what everybody waited for, and that was last, of course. But like it was just the actual presentation was very boring.
Yeah, it was bare bones. Like it felt like someone got up at a meeting and started discussing. It was just like welcome this guy to the stage, shake hands, and this guy would leave. It was just like very.
I do remember the Square part of it the Nier part of it.
Yeah, because the guy came out.
With Majora's Mask Moon on his head, and I was like, "What is this? This is the dumbest game of the year." But yeah, obviously, what do we think we're going to see? And let me just say that it is Kingdom Hearts, it's the release date, and it's a new world. That is all anybody cares about for this show.
I want to see the Avengers project.
Oh, never mind. That is a big one, and that will be there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I really want to see the Avengers project that they're working on.
Yeah, I think we'll see that.
So I hope there's a good solid 5-10 minutes over that. Because we all know what the last 20 minutes is going to be. So
yeah. I imagine that we'll see that for sure. And then I imagine we'll see.
You got to capitalize right now.
We'll probably see a lot of Tomb Raider as well.
Yeah, anything Marvel related. So
those will be their big ones, I imagine. Next up, Microsoft is making a Sony Santa Monica studio, it seems like. And by that, I mean it seems like that they're hiring for game developers and people that are able to work with smaller teams to help them make games. Santa Monica is an interesting studio for Sony because their name is on so many games because they kind of take in studios and kind of nurture them and help them create games like Journey and Flower and Unfinished Swan and what was Edith Finch and all these games. They have a helping hand in like giving them resources and advice and all this stuff, and they actually worked in the same building for a long time, as far as I know. And like I said, they're kind of a partner of all these other Sony studios. And it seems like Microsoft might be trying to make a studio that is able to do that same thing. And I think this might be the turning of the corner for Microsoft into trying to copy what Sony does best, which is their exclusives, their studios that have exclusives. And it seems like Microsoft might be making the first steps towards
a little late in the game,
giving
but
the time to do that.
positive.
Well, you got to do it at some point.
Yeah,
like,
it's a positive outlook.
So I think that's super exciting. But of course, if you're making it, we're not going to see that until late.
You won't see
next
the fruits
Xbox.
of the labor until
a long time. But that's cool. Good step forward if that's what's going on. Next up, quick news. Pokemon Go Fest is back. It is happening July 14th and 15th. It is in Chicago, which is where it was last year. Obviously, last year, riddled with a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Lots of complaints. And it seems like they were like, hey, we're going to pick Chicago again. We're going to kind of, the people that hated it, let's do this again. Let's make it work. They made the tickets a little bit cheaper. It was only $20 to get a ticket. They did some things such as it's on Saturday and Sunday, and if you go Saturday, you can't go Sunday. Like, your account will not spawn Pokemon. If you were there the day before, they have 2 entrances instead of 1 this time, so you actually pick on your ticket if you want to go to the south entrance or the north entrance. So they're really trying to help that. You need to register a account with the ticket, sort of. It comes in an email later, which is a problem, and we'll talk about that in a second. And it's in a different park, and this park is less of a stadium. The last one was kind of just like a concert stadium outside, so everybody was kind of just together.
Yeah.
This one is a walking park that's 2 miles. It's just a loop. And basically it seems like the way that they're describing it is like every, I don't know, quarter of a mile or whatever, it's going to be like a different biome. So you can go to the grass, fire, water, and it's just a big loop. And the Indian Pokemon exclusive is going to show up there, which is some turtle. I don't know what it is. Some like volcano turtle. So that's maybe. So that's the good news. Then the bad news is the tickets went on sale this morning. I was there before they were even up, and I couldn't even get a ticket because the whole website just crashed. It was horrible. Spent 40 minutes trying to get the stupid thing. Wouldn't let me in. Just wanted to buy 3 tickets to go to this thing. Wouldn't let me do it. Lots of complaints. A lot of YouTubers didn't even get their tickets. They bought flights already. The big Pokemon Go YouTubers, and they didn't even get tickets to it. I saw some people tweeting that they bought hotels and they were ready to go, and then their group got 1 ticket. Like, they couldn't get through to get the tickets. Come on, guys. Then you go on eBay. They're $800 ticket on eBay now, and it's like, I thought you were going to fix this by making you register your names with your accounts. Like, I had the names written down that I was going to get, like my brother's account name and everything, written down to buy the tickets because I was ready to buy them. And nope, they email you in 2 weeks, and that's when you give them your username. So that didn't fix anything.
Yeah.
Good job. So 1 step forward, 2 steps back, unfortunately. I wanted to go. I don't think I'm going to get to go this year, which sucks. Because last year we ended up buying some tickets off the secondhand market, but I don't think we can even do that this year. You have to know way too far in advance that you're able to go. And for $20, I don't mind going, I'll buy them and see if I can go, but not for ridiculous prices. So that sucks.
Yeah, I heard more people having success with getting like BlizzCon tickets. So the fact that
it was
that's more successful than
and I was literally waiting there. They go live at 11, and I'm sitting there at 10:55 waiting for them to go live. They go live, and I still can't get one. That is ridiculous. I don't know why they don't make it through the game where you get your stuff, but whatever. So that's happening, and I won't be there. Next up, a real quick one. Amazon is no longer taking pre-orders for Sony games. So if you go to Detroit Become Human, it's not available.
Yep.
All their future games, not available. Nobody really knows the reason why, but the rumor is they screwed up God of War. Apparently, people's copies of God of War got canceled. They were showing up days and almost a week late. All the stuff, people were really mad at Amazon, and it seems like Sony just cut them off as a retailer because they screwed up one of their biggest games.
That's big.
So I think you can buy Nintendo games, but you can't buy, there's some Nintendo stuff that's weird. You buy them through third parties and not actually Amazon. I know Nintendo's weird with Amazon. It seems like Sony's relationship with Amazon might have just, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But just a small news story, but a very, very big news story in Impact.
Especially for someone who depends on Amazon for all the pre-order stuff. But oh well.
Next up, PC digital game gifting is now available to everyone on Xbox One. So this was something that they had for some limited games, and now it's going to be available for everything. So basically, they say last fall, the Microsoft Store enabled gifting of select Xbox One digital games, Xbox One downloadable game content, and Xbox One and Xbox Live Gold and Game Pass subscriptions. This feature has been a huge hit with our fans and has made buying presents for friends and family even easier, especially around the holidays. Today, we're excited to announce that we have expanded the digital gifting to include PC games, PC downloadable game content, such as map packs and skins, and that all Xbox One games are going to be giftable. On top of that, they say things such as you can only do discounted games. So if there's a discount to it, you can only do that every 14. You can only do 2 every 14 days, so that you're not just like, oh, this is a good deal, let me give it to everybody. They wanted to not have that happen, though. I'm not entirely sure why, because that person could have just bought it. But whatever, I don't understand that fully.
There's probably some math behind it. So.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you can't gift Xbox 360 games and pre-orders and things along that line. That's cool.
It's cool. I just like being able...
I don't understand. I mean, you can... I've always been like, oh, you can give somebody a gift card. It's kind of... And then let them choose. But it's nice to just be like, oh, this... I didn't think about sales. Mm-hmm. It's nice to be like, oh, this is on sale right now. Let me buy it for you. That's where it's more interesting. But like,
it's
for me personally,
sort of
all
the
my
Steam
friends...
thing. It's just one step closer to proving the Steam theory that I have that they're just going to acquire Steam.
We'll see.
But it's nice sometimes just be like, hey man, let's pretend that they have good games out. Did you get that Halo 6? It's like,
that really highly reviewed game?
I was kind of thinking about it. You know, I'm kind of on the fence. $60 is a lot. And it's just like, bloop.
Surprise.
Now you do. It's nice to be able to do that. Or
it's also probably really good for them to acquire business off people who got drunk and are playing games. And like, man, you gotta play this game. I'll buy it for you.
But it's not, especially if you have someone you're constantly communicating with, like if it's a family member or if you're overseas or something like that. And it's nice to just be able to just be like, bloop, bought.
Very cool. Nothing really to complain about, but
it's a cool
very
feature.
Cool system. It's a feature, yeah. Next up, Activision boasts unprecedented new game mode coming to a first-person shooter at E3. So this is going to be Destiny 2, which has had a rough life. It started out pretty strong, and then it took a hit, and then it just kept on kind of going down. Apparently at E3, they're going to reveal an unprecedented game mode for first-person shooters that they have. What does that mean? Is it just Battle Royale?
I don't know.
It's probably just Battle Royale.
It's probably Battle Royale with a
twist.
With a little twist and a different name that's not Battle Royale.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
I don't put Activision in the category of like groundbreaking, innovating. I feel like they master some things and they take advantage of, like they're good at
marketing,
sorting, getting of like the pulse of the market and like doing the Call of Duty thing to it and making it sell. Or maybe the Destiny thing, but it sounds like they're not really mastering a lot of things with that franchise right now, if you look on Reddit at least and other places. But it's got to be it.
I can't think of anything. We'll see.
And
but
the
I
fact
can't think of anything that they could do.
The fact that it comes out, Call of Duty comes out so much earlier now that it's going to be technically the first-person mainstay game. I mean, I know PUBG's first person, but I feel like the fact that it's got that month gap in between, like the Battlefield or whatever else is going to do it, then they get to say.
The rumor is it's coming to Switch too. The Battle Royale mode is going to be not the game, just Battle Royale.
Oh, just the mode.
To Switch. Yep.
That's smart, actually, to just release a certain mode of something, so you don't have to give them the dumbed down version.
Yeah. So the rumor is that just Battle Royale Call of Duty is coming to Switch, which is actually really cool, I think. I have no clue what it could be. I think this is an overhyped thing. I think I'll go, oh, cool. And that's about it. But
it's either going to be, oh, cool, maybe like a, at most, to who saw this coming in a sarcastic tone sort of thing. So.
Yeah. Got my papers all up in in a mess here. Next up, Sony isn't. This is a big one. Sony isn't doing a traditional press conference.
Yeah.
It will be taking a deep dive look instead at Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, and The Last of Us 2. On top of that, they said that they have some reveals for some indie games and some partnerships as far as third-party stuff goes. Uh-oh. I don't like this news.
No, I don't like it at all.
No, this is what they said about PSX. And PSX last year, while I enjoyed it because I had E3 so I don't think this is like doom and gloom. There's people who are like, but I think we get one first party reveal the whole time, maybe. I think we're gonna. I don't want to get too much into it because we're gonna do predictions, but I think we'll see like maybe Devil May Cry 5's partnership there. We'll see maybe this is where we see Red Dead because that would be a big one.
I thought you were gonna say Resident Evil 2 remake.
That one's coming up next. I think we'll see Resident Evil 2.
Yeah,
and then like they're just going to play Spider-Man, which I don't really personally want to see any more of because I'm good. Like, thank you.
Yeah,
I've seen it enough. I want it. Death Stranding, I think, is going to be big, and we'll talk about that in predictions. I think we're going to see way more of Death Stranding than people might think. Ghost of Tsushima is a huge one because we don't know anything about it, and The Last of Us 2 is also huge because we don't really know anything about it. But yeah, just the way that they are already tempering expectations. This is exactly what they did about PSX last year, and PSX last year wasn't the most fun thing to watch.
No, it was boring because they had the Paris week right before that.
Yeah, so I'm a little nervous. And honestly, I think if anybody is going like this, after hearing Nintendo's only focusing on 2018, Sony's only doing these, Xbox can really bring it this year if they can really bring it this year.
And all they have to do is stick to the tried and true formula of E3 of, big announcement, like win the crowd sort of thing.
Yeah, and then don't cancel it. Yeah.
Poor dragons. But yeah, like I think if they just kind of stick with the typical E3 Microsoft approach, and they actually deliver, and they name drop a Halo, name drop a Gears, do whatever, they will be just fine. And these are more informational, and I don't know, like this. I know we always go to the Sony thing each year in the theaters. I want to go drastically less now.
I agree. Because that's not part drastically less, but I agree. It's really hurt my my excitement for it because, especially as somebody, I'm sold on Spider-Man. I'm not like excited for Spider-Man, but it looks good. I want it. I'll play it. Death Stranding, I'm gonna get that game no matter what. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Last of Us 2, once again, getting it no matter what. The only one that I'm like curious about here is Ghosts. Yeah. And then like they've just told me that they're not gonna reveal any other first. Where is Medieval? Where's my Medieval remaster? You announced that it's coming this year. You say that's a first-party game, I imagine, unless they port it.
It feels really weird because it feels like they have consistently won E3, quote unquote, for the past couple of years,
especially with haymakers. They've been throwing the haymakers like crazy,
and it's just really odd that the guys on top are the ones being like, we're just going to restructure the way we do it. Like if this was Microsoft saying we're going to focus on 4 big things, that would make sense. Okay, you're losing, you want to change it up, you want to do whatever. But Sony's press conferences, like they're always great. Yeah, they're just. And I don't want to go to the theater, or my interest in it is drastically less because it kind of feels like you're in the crowd at the conference now, and you already know what's going to be talked about 90%.
Yeah, it's just a little strange. I don't like it. I do think we're going to have big reveals. Like a lot of people are like, oh, we're not going to see. I think we're going to get those Devil May Cries, the Resident Evils, the Red Dead gameplay. Like I do think we'll see Kingdom Hearts 3 will probably be there. Like I do think we'll see that. I do think we'll see that stuff. But I am tempered now about my expectation. We'll probably see Crash or Spyro. I mean, but I am tempered with my expectations for stuff, and that's not good. Like,
and honestly, with stuff like Death Stranding that I know I'm gonna get, Ghost of Tsushima, like I feel good about it. There's obviously not much to go off of there, but I just got a good vibe from it. I don't want to do deep dives, honestly.
The only one I kind of want to deep dive of is Death Stranding, just because I could do with like, what is this game? I don't know what that game is still.
Yeah, the deep dive I want from anything E3 is always, here's the cinematic trailer, or like the pretty, we're selling you the game trailer.
Here's like the story
and then
trailer.
it cuts immediately into
Some
you
gameplay.
playing the game.
God of War, I think, was perfect.
Yeah.
God of War, I think, was perfect. And they did such a good job with everything from announcement to reveals to release with that game. I think that was a perfect game release schedule. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. I don't know. It has me a little worried for Sony's press conference. I think Nintendo's is going to be Smash, so it's going to be all hype. Like, they can just have Smash and be able to out-hype everybody. Unfortunately.
They could just do...
But Xbox, I've never seen the ball put on the tee for Xbox to just knock it out of the park, and we'll see what they do. Yeah. But honestly, I don't know. I think this is going to, like, that's what I was saying. I think this is going to be a little bit of a tempered E3. I think it's going to be a little bit of a weaker one. Which is unfortunate. Why'd they reveal Spyro earlier? Why'd they like? There's some games like why'd they do the Days Gone thing early? I don't know. Whatever.
I just feel like, I mean, you've compared it to PSX a lot. I feel like I'm going to come out of this the same way as PSX, where like I had all these expectations and like ideas and thoughts, and like none of it happened.
The only like huge reveal at I say huge. The only like big-ish reveal thing was the Medieval remaster.
Sure.
And I was like, that got me super excited. I love Medieval, but like that's not gonna get.
That's not a
showstopper.
Excited. Yeah,
like that's a little strange. So I don't know. What about what is it? Shadows Die Twice. Maybe we see that the Bloodborne 2, possibly, maybe not. Game.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like they say they want to do a deep dive, so I'm thinking an hour-long.
Like
event
10 minutes with each,
and they want to do 15
game?
minutes each, and maybe like here's the reveal or something in between.
Yeah, I don't want to see. So this is our crafting system. When you do this, you can do. I don't care. Like Last of Us, I could see them bringing out Neil to talk about Last of Us,
sure,
because he's good at that. I could see them bringing out Kojima and Del Toro and whoever and talking about Death Stranding, but like. Spider-Man and Ghost.
I don't know why you need to do a deep. Spider-Man sells on name alone.
Yeah, and it comes out in like a few months.
You sling through.
You've already got your pre-orders.
You sling through the city. You know who the hero is. Like I don't know what there is to show. Traditionally, the Spider-Man games have been excellent as far as gameplay. So
yeah, and this one looks like it's going to be the best one of them. But yeah, I don't know. They're just going to be like, hey, you have a homecoming suit in it.
And obviously, Ghost needs as much exposure as it can get.
I mean, a gameplay.
Just so like, what is this?
Would be nice. Yeah, and then we could see, and then maybe they end with 2019 or whatever they're going to do. A lot of people are like, well, they're working on the PS5. And maybe the PlayStation 5 is, coming sooner, maybe 2019 or something like that. So they have this really tempered E3 because Horizon 2 is a PlayStation 5 game. Whatever Sony Japan's working on is a PlayStation 5 game. And, like, that's the reasons. I think that is very possible. But it's just weird. The fact that they got out ahead of it to announce that this is going to be weird is exactly what they did at PSX. And I don't think people were happy with PSX.
I think, too... unless you just had a really good feeling that you were going to play a bunch of stuff behind closed doors, I guess. I would almost want to cancel my tickets if I... obviously, if I wasn't like in like publication, something like that. But like I don't feel like this would be a fun one to go to if it's...
I mean, it would be fine. But yeah, going to the press conferences is different. You have to be invited to go to them.
Sure.
Going to E3, you just go and play the games, which is totally different. But the press conferences happen before E3. So if you get in there, it's mostly press. And then they have invitation stuff that you can get in through. But like, I don't know. And then the GameStop managers all show up. It's whatever. But yeah, like I said, I think that I just am a little bit nervous because the last time they did this, I don't think it worked out super well for them. And like you said, they are on top, like whatever. But if you look at it from a public perspective of people that don't actually watch E3 but hear news of E3, this is going to be crazy for them. They're like, whoa, Last of Us 2, all this gameplay? What's this Ghost game? Whoa, Spider-Man, 15 minutes of Like, those people are going to have a field day. I feel like it's the people that are excited for E3 that are like, uh-oh, this might not be great.
But yeah, as far as Microsoft is concerned, like, it's yours.
Yeah, it's yours for the taking.
tell us that Crackdown 3 is coming out. Do a Halo thing. Maybe talk about Gears a little bit.
Do a Fable teaser since you got that going for us.
Drop,
Announce more backwards compatibility games
too,
and then I was just about to say, and then show
3.
off Perfect Dark and your other remastered, Xbox game. Don't cancel, any of them. And I think you're pretty good.
Don't do Forza Horizon 4 and skip.
The other thing that they announced is that there is no hardware reveals.
Yeah.
So no Vita 2, which is something that I was toying with putting on my predictions thing. Not a Vita 2, but like a Switch compatible PS4 thing. That's not happening. PlayStation 5 isn't happening. They got out ahead of that. That one I think is good to get out ahead of because then people aren't going there to see the PlayStation 5 and it doesn't happen. All right. So let's move into kind of a question/news story, which is Walmart leaked a whole bunch of games accidentally due to a glitch in their system.
Yeah.
They leaked tons of E3 games, and we're just
like actual dozens.
and we're just gonna kind of go through some and talk about: do we think they're real? Do we think they're fake? What's going on here? So I'm just gonna go through the list and we can kind of talk about.
I'm kind of looking at it too.
Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Now this one's already been announced. This one is clear as day, real.
Yeah.
Sure, that not very surprising.
Yeah.
Next up, Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
Do you think that Splinter Cell is real?
Obviously, it's a code name or a placeholder name.
Because it's going to be called
Splinter
Cell Wildlands or whatever they want to call it.
Aside from Half-Life 3, which is never happening, like Splinter Cell's getting up there now since Beyond Good and Evil is finally a real thing. Like, this is one of the longer running, it's happening, sort of like E3 memes at this point.
I think for the last 2 years I predicted Splinter Cell. And I will again this year.
It's a safe bet because of Wildlands, kind of including Sam Fisher in it. So I think it's probably real. Like, I don't know what our conditions are.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're just talking about it.
It seems real enough.
I think that this one is real. I also think that it is just an educated guess by Walmart because I don't think any of these are actual leaks.
Yeah.
I think Walmart just has a gamer guy that's like, hey, can you put in some games that might be revealed at E3 so that they're in our system? And he went, okay, live. And then he got fired. I think that's what happened. And now he no longer has a job. Next up, what is this? Insurgency Sandstorm? Do you know what this is?
Not at all.
That's interesting because I don't either, and I didn't think there was any games on here that I didn't know. I missed that one. Next up, Last of Us 2, obviously real.
I think that one's real,
talk about that one. How about Just Cause 4? Just Cause 3, a couple years old.
That makes sense.
Makes sense time-wise.
That game is like...
I feel like it doesn't need to exist.
It doesn't need to. I guess I want to say cult following because I can always go on gaming-related websites, whether it's Reddit, whether it's whatever, and I can always pretty much end up finding a Just Cause 3 GIF somewhere.
Oh, really?
So just someone doing just some incredibly wacky things, sort of like what people did with Breath of the Wild, like, oh, look at this crazy series of events that happened, like chained into an explosion sort of thing. It could exist, but why? Who cares?
I think this
I don't know what Just Cause 4 is going to compete with.
We'll say, do we think they're going to get revealed at E3? That'll be our line. And I'm going to say no. I don't think this one's going to happen. WWE 2K19. Yep. Probably. That'll be a thing.
It'll be in a montage if it shows up.
Assassin's Creed.
No. I think they're actually going to stick to their word and say that this isn't going to be a yearly release.
You think we're getting Watch Dogs 3?
I think they're going to skip both.
Interesting. I like it.
Now, when it comes to the prediction night, I might change my tune, but
I'm excited for
now.
predictions.
For now, I think they're taking a break and hopefully honing in on Beyond Good and Evil.
Gotcha. Dragon Quest 2. What the heck is that? There is Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Maybe that's what
Maybe that's what the guy that got fired put into meant to put in the system. I don't think we're getting a Dragon Quest 2.
I don't think they're going to re-release Dragon Quest 2, but
I don't
who
think
knows?
that's happening. They have the Xbox versions too. So Destiny Comet is the next one, which is basically their code name for a DLC. Yes, because they're going to put DLC in Destiny, but Whatever.
Does it get announced at E3? Probably.
Sure.
Because it's going to have an unprecedented mode in it.
Battle Royale. Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's on Xbox, which is interesting. Cool.
Maybe he knows something we don't.
Yeah. The next ones are Metroid Prime. Of course, we know about Metroid Prime 4 coming. NBA 2K19, we know about.
Safe bet.
That one coming. Smash Brothers. Borderlands 3 has been announced but not announced. They've talked about it.
Yeah.
We know it's in development, so I'm going to kind of skip over that one. Lego DC Villains. This one's also been talked about. Nothing too crazy there. How about this one? Rage 2.
That one's gained the most traction of anything on this list.
Yes, and the reason is, one, I think it's the only one on this whole entire list that is out there.
Yeah.
But also plausible. And then on top of it, some Bethesda employees commented on it. They were like, hey, your font's wrong. Like, they were being cute about it. Does that mean it exists? Is that just them being funny and trying to get
it's a
stories?
weird line of you don't know if like some guy just sniffed out something magically and they're just like playing around with it like, oh no, that's not it, what are you talking about, like trying to fan the flames or like kill the flames off a little bit, or if they're just trolling the troll sort of thing.
Yeah, like I can't tell.
Yeah.
Also, why isn't it Wet 2? That's the game I want. But no, do you think we're going to see Rage 2 at E3?
Bethesda's gone into a little bit, haven't they, of what they're going to talk about?
I think
put
some
in
things. They
like,
put out their
cryptic messages.
They put out their spaceship
thing
because I think we're going to see, what is it, Star Child or Star? I think it's called Star Child.
Whatever.
They're, they do their medieval or not MMO, but their medieval RPG, their post-apocalyptic RPG, and now their space RPG is going to kind of finish the trilogy. So I guess we'll see that. But
I wouldn't put it past them, but I think this is just an oddball thing. I don't think someone sniffed out.
I agree.
Some magic. I think they're just having fun and trolling the troll.
Also on here is Dreams PS4. Totally forgot about that game. Where is that game? Is that going to be at E3?
Dreamland. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating.
If there was a game that needed a deep dive, it's probably
It's
that
Dreams.
one. Like swap Spider-Man for that.
Yeah,
I would kind of tune out a little bit, but a deep dive could maybe sell me on the game and on the other aspect. So who knows?
Let's get into two that I find very interesting. Gears of War 5.
Mm-hmm.
Gears of War instead of Halo.
That would be interesting. Interesting is probably meaning bad because it feels like
those words are interchangeable.
It feels like Halo needs. I mean, that's been the cycle.
Yeah, that's been the cycle, and in Gears 4 is so still feels newish. Halo 5 doesn't. Like they were a year separated, and
the only thing still carrying that game is like the esports aspect of it, really, and
Halo?
multiplayer. Yeah, and the multiplayer. It's just, if it came down to it, I think most people would say, give me the Halo. Or if you're saying, what does Microsoft need to do this year to gain traction?
Or what are they announcing? Do you think they announce Gears 5?
No.
I agree. I think that maybe they do a tease.
Yeah.
And be like, there's a Gears in development. But, I don't think they're going to announce it. And then the one for me that broke it all, Forza Horizons 5.
Yeah.
First off, that is not the name of the series. Second off, they haven't even done 4 yet.
Yeah.
So I don't think that this is the one that I saw and I was like, I think this is just an employee that just did some stuff and it didn't go. So yeah, overall, I think people made a big thing out of this.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's a real leak. I heard a lot of people disagree with that are way more into in the weeds with the reveals and stuff. But I just don't think that I really do think it was some guy there who knows games, and they were like, "Hey, can you do this for us just so that we're prepared?" And somebody hit a button they weren't supposed to. I really do think that that's all that this is. And that being said, the only one of these that I think is maybe true that wasn't like Rage 2, maybe they had some information on that because that's a weird one.
Yeah.
But like everything else is all like rumor
sort of
stuff
thing.
or obvious ones, or not a game that's going to come out with Forza Horizon 5. So I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, if they gave it like a 2021 release date,
maybe because it's Microsoft, they're doing that thing where they don't know how to count. They're like Xbox 360,
go backwards.
Xbox One, or with Windows, where they're like Windows 8, Windows 10. Maybe they're doing Forza Horizon 3, Forza Horizons 5.
Could very well be that they just forgot that they hadn't made 4 yet.
I would say this list is a best guess from somebody. That is
it's a gamer's wish list in some regards.
I agree. All right, let's move into some releases and then get out of here. There's a lot more releases than I thought there would be, but nothing too crazy. So, Horizon Chase Turbo, PS4, PC, May 15th. Little Witch Academia, Chamber of Time, PC, PS4, May 15th. I see this game title a lot, this Witch Academia thing. I don't know anything about it, but I see it. Like, I feel like it's kind of like the Sword Art games, where there's like 5 of them. They just keep showing, or even the Naruto games. Like, I feel like there's a whole bunch of those that... I feel like every 3 months I'm reading one. It's
all anime. So yep.
Omen Sight, PS4, PC, May 15th. I don't know what that is, but that sounds interesting.
Sounds spooky.
Where's Gareth to tell us what that game is? Shin Megami Tensei, Strange Journey Redux, 3DS, May 15th. Stop putting games on 3DS. Please put games on the Switch. Just kill it. Oh my gosh.
Kill the mobile thing with the mobile thing.
I know. Did you hear them talking about why they consider it a console? This is just a little aside. I think it was during their online thing. They talk about why they consider it a console because they don't think that they could sell a family of people Switches, where they all get Switches.
Yeah.
They think that
basically sell them all peripherals.
They could sell a family 4 3DSs, and they think that would work. They don't think they could sell them 4 Switches, and that's why they consider the Switch a home console.
Yeah, because that family's net income needs to be at least $500,000. to afford it.
But I think they could. They just need to go. Like, you need to sell just the actual Switch, like the screen, as a thing. Like, then you could do it, because then they could buy Joy-Con and Switch and not a dock, and you're already knocking $100 off the price doing that. You remove the Joy-Cons, the stupid screen's only like, what, $120 maybe, and you could just sell that. Like, I think that would work a lot better. Anyway, next up, Far Lone Sales.
Or just put Wii Bowling on it, and you can sell it to a whole family easy.
That's true, too. Far Lone Sales, PC, May 17th. Fox and Forest, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, May 17th. Worlds Adrift, PC, May 17th. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, Switch, May 18th. This is... I'm excited for this game. I'm going to pick it up when it gets cheaper. I really liked Hyrule Warriors on the Wii U, and the more I think about it, the more I really want to play it again. So it's going to be nice to get it on the Switch, but I didn't get any of the DLC. And there was a lot of DLC for this game. So it's going to be fun just going back in, leveling up the characters that I want. And similar to Fire Emblem Warriors, which I played because you let me borrow it, that game, really good handheld game. Very fun handheld game. So hopefully Hyrule Warriors is just as fun, and with all the content really feels like a fleshed out, experience. Though it felt like one on the Wii U without the DLC. So next up, Little Nightmares Complete Edition, Switch, May 18th. This is the Tim Burton-esque side scroller game, similar to like Limbo or Inside, where you're kind of hiding from things that are in the background looking for you. Kind of interesting concept, very Coraline looking, I guess I would say, as an art direction. I think it's worth getting. If you haven't played it, it's worth getting. And then, though it's a little weird of a portable game, they should put Agony on this. I want to play Agony portable on the plane and see what people say.
Probably get kicked off the plane.
And then finally, State of Decay 2 for Xbox One and PC, May 18th. This is one of their big releases.
Heavily tempted by it.
Really? I have literal zero interest.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah. It's a little too close to Detroit. But I mean, Detroit's not built as like a 60-hour adventure or anything like that. So.
No, I think it's like 8 to 10 or something.
So I don't know. I am on a wait and see approach with State of Decay. I could find the time to play it.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fine game. I think this is going to be another 7-ish scoring game that they have. Yeah, when I say I'm done with zombies, I'm being serious. I don't care. Like, I don't want to...
Just rewind 30 minutes where he says he'll play Days Gone.
No, I know. But I don't care. No, I said I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm open.
I know what you're saying, though.
Yeah,
it's not a ripe time for zombies to make their return quite yet.
I don't know. It's interesting because, like, there's only so many things you can beat up massive. Like, there's aliens, there's robots, there's zombies.
Thankfully,
like, without killing humans...
Thankfully, with this game, it's like killing the zombies isn't like the point of it. Like you're just doing so much other stuff. So I'm trying to see if that other stuff is good enough to sell a game.
Gotcha.
That's the wait and see approach. I know I've killed enough zombies. Vermintide, the game that the Warhammer game that Todd and I played a little bit this year. That got my fill of okay. Let me kill hordes of stuff.
Hordes and stuff. I'm gonna kill whatever you kill in Hyrule Warriors. I think they're just people. I'm pretty sure Link's just a murderer in that game.
You hurt him real bad. You knock him out.
I think they die and go to heaven. I'm pretty sure they disappear. Anyway, that's it for the releases, and that's it for this episode of the Press X podcast. Thank you for being here, Nick.
Of course, I had to bring my controller with me.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't say anything about it. That thing is
I love the controller, and I love life. That's all there is to say about it. Buy it.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll speak with you next time.
They just need to release more Xbox games that I can play it on. It's PC.
You can kill a man with this.
Yeah.